Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com.
See, now that's just a great title for a show. That took some thought, some collaboration between Zuby and I. When the power play struggles, it is Nacho night. Zuby, well done, buddy. We got to pat ourselves on the back for that. That is Gene Principe-like.
I give it all to you. I wanted something with the nachos, but you were smart enough to come up with the pun.
I saw Gene when we were leaving the building, and I told him what the title of our show was. And he approved. The Prince of Puns approved. We got the stamp of approval. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are live tonight on YouTube. And we are live on X. And for some reason, we're live on Twitch, too. So if anybody out there on Twitch is watching us live, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for listening to us. If you're downloading, we appreciate you being along for the ride. Interesting one tonight. We're going to get set to break it all down. Oilers drop one to the Washington Capitals without Connor McDavid on a night where the power play kind of sputtered, didn't it? Lots of opportunity. Lots to break down. Jason Strudwick standing by. Sounds like we might even have Rob Brown a little early tonight, which we like. And Zuby there as well. As always, our show brought to you by our amazing title sponsor, Play Alberta, the official gaming partner of all the major Alberta teams. Whoever you cheer for, Play Alberta is cheering you on. Bet on your favorites, get in on odds boosts, and make game time more interesting. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with the code GYB01. Visit playalberta.ca. And I am coming at you from our mobile Adrenaline Diesel studio tonight. Now with an online store for all your diesel truck parts needs. Check out adrenalinediesel.ca. All right, as we say good evening to Jason Strudwick. Struddy, you don't mind a pun now and then, buddy. That's some solid work on the title tonight, wouldn't you? I mean, even you have to admit, as much as you don't like giving compliments to me or admitting that we can be funny too, it's not just always you.
It's a good one. It's a good one. But I'm going to be honest. I'm not a punner myself. I don't think I've ever spun a pun, at least not intentionally.
No,
maybe by accident.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing to do, and I think once you get in the groove, like Gene's really good at it. I have another friend, Courtney Terrio, who's really good at them. But I can't, for my life of me, I can't spin one.
Yeah. No, you do this other really funny thing where you take words and you replace them with other words. Like, and it's really funny. I know you do it subtly. So like where some people say charcuterie, you say charcuterie as a joke to make everyone laugh and think that you don't actually know it's charcuterie.
That's called creativity. That's a lot of great people have had it, right? Like Roseanne Barr, Michelangelo, Picasso, and me.
Yeah, exactly. Is that Rob Brown I hear already? Brownie.
Roberto.
What's happening, buddy? Did Stoff throw you in the penalty box? He cut down your ice time? What happened?
Bench. I'm like Noah Philp tonight. Didn't play poorly, but just had no need for me. And they benched me.
You must have said something to somebody, buddy. This is the earliest I ever recall having you on a post-game pod, buddy.
It is. It was like I was here before you guys. I was waiting till you guys come on. Although I'm fortunate that I came on early. I got to hear Struts compare Michelangelo, Picasso, and Roseanne Barr, all as three great creative people.
Oh yeah, as only Struddy can do. All right, guys. Well, let's not waste any more time, shall we? Let's get to the breakdown. Struds brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers.
The 4x4 winter event is here. Get up to $11,200 in total discounts on the 2024 Ram 1500 DT Bighorn at your Alberta Ram dealer. See a Ram dealer today.
All right. Okay, gents, I feel like my instinct tonight is to say, the Oilers played well in a lot of ways. They really could have done themselves a favor by finding a power play goal there, Brownie. Like, on a night where you don't have Connor McDavid and, you're playing against the top teams in the league, you can really help yourselves out by executing on the power play. And I thought they really struggled with the man advantage tonight, Brownie.
I think they did too. And I don't know if it was you or one of you guys asked about Arvidsson. And I like where Knobloch said, hey, it wasn't Arvidsson. He was fine.
Yeah.
And I agree with him.
Yeah.
When you don't have Connor McDavid, your power play changes. And Leon Draisaitl, who is one of the best power play scorers in the National Hockey League, becomes a playmaker. And that's fine because he's one of the best playmakers in the world. The problem is when the guy he's passing the puck to, expecting one-timers to the net, isn't taking those and isn't getting them through, well, now your power play is going to struggle. Their power play seemed like it was set up for Evan Bouchard to shoot the puck. One of the best shots in the National Hockey League. It creates chaos. He was either unwilling or didn't get the pucks through or was tentative. There was one power play came to him, and then he just tentative, and he just kind of passed it to nobody, and the Capital just went skate up, picked it up, shot it down the ice. Even throwing the puck back to Leon coming up the ice. One time he threw it back on the breakout, and Leon actually had to stop, go sideways to get the puck, and now loses all momentum. So Evan Bouchard had a rough night, and when you have no Connor McDavid and Evan Bouchard is having a rough night, that's 2/5 of your power play isn't there, and that's one of the big reasons to me, Strud, that their power play wasn't effective. But 100% Schauger, you're right. This was a night where they needed a power play goal.
Yeah, I think you guys both nailed it there. And I remember last time Connor was out, we talked a little bit about the power play being stagnant and even predictable at times. And I think they were trying to get away from it today, but it's hard because, of a 2-minute power play, how much time does that puck spend on 97 stick? A lot of it. And now all of a sudden other people have to start holding on to it and in different positions. So there's a time to adapt there. And, I guess fortunate or unfortunate, it's only 3 games that he's not going to be there. But it looked a little bit just like everyone's trying to figure out exactly, what do I do here? How do I make it work? So a tough night for the power play. And you're right, Schauger, they needed it tonight because, Washington was very opportunistic, whereas the Oilers were just unable to capitalize on the opportunities they had in the offensive zone.
I thought there were 2 players that struggled in particular with the man advantage tonight. And this is the thing. The Oilers have the luxury of incredibly sure-handed players on this power play, right? Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' value on this power play, we've talked about it so many times. Pretty much every zone entry flows through Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at some point. He has a decision to make over on that left side, coming off the wall. Does he go down low? Does he drop it back? He normally has to have a really solid stick handle with his head up and make a call right there. He's normally so good at it. I thought he threw a lot of pucks away on the power play tonight, Brownie. He's normally so good with that. So not only was Bouchard off, and I agree, the gun sights were off for him, Nugent-Hopkins, same thing tonight. And without McDavid on top of it, that'll sink any power play. But I'll point to Nuge, too, on this same front.
Well, and a good point on that, but think about it. Normally, it's Connor McDavid coming up 100 miles an hour. As he's coming in, when he passes it to Nugent-Hopkins, he's pushed those defensemen back about another 10 feet. So now, without Connor McDavid coming up, Nugent-Hopkins, when he gets the puck, they're on him quicker. He doesn't have as much time that he usually has. Yeah. And you're right. He forced a couple plays, but I think a lot of it had to do with the fact he normally has more time there. He can make a play. He can think of the play. But with no Connor McDavid, that play has to be made quicker, and it wasn't tonight. And the Washington Capitals took full advantage and created turnovers.
But even the space they get, because people, when Connor's coming up the middle with speed, the D and the defending forwards, they kind of collapse a bit to the middle, and then Connor kicks it out, and boom, now Nuge has more space and time. So when it's not McDavid coming up at Mach 5, you're not quite as worried. So you keep your spacing a little bit better, and that takes away space on the wall.
Yeah, that slingshot entry is a little different and no offense to Draisaitl, he skates well too, but it wasn't the same. Draisaitl was not going as deep, and he wasn't trying to get to full speed by the time he got the puck. He took more of a studious approach to those entries, not full speed and just kind of picking his spot. And actually, a lot of the entries went okay to my eye. It was some more decisions once they were in the zone that I thought they got a little bit hampered and jammed up with, for sure. You know what? Let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here, because I want to hear from Chris Knobloch, because that's going to take us to our next topic about just sort of the overall amount of opportunities that the Oilers had tonight and the power play. And I believe one of our answers here is Knobloch talking about both. So, Struddy, our soundbox is always brought to you by our good friends over at Weiss Johnson.
Heating and air conditioning. Weiss Johnson is offering 10% off any new furnace installed before March 1st. Should need to replace your furnace because it stopped working or it's just getting old and unreliable like Strud's mediocre tennis game, you want a newer, better model that is more. Holy jeez. I mean, who writes this stuff? That's outrageous. Randine, okay, she's getting a strongly worded email tomorrow, as is our good buddy Dennis. Okay, and you want a newer, better model that is more efficient. Awesome. Mention her on Got Your Back podcast where you book your estimate and receive 10% off your new furnace price. Visit WeissJohnson.com today, and that is not funny. Don't laugh.
Oh, Zuby, I think it's a double jingle night, buddy. We got Struds. Jingle it up again, buddy. Love it. Love it. So here's the backstory to this, Struds, and this is a good lesson, right? I know you're a veteran broadcaster. You know your stuff. I'm not trying to explain here, host-splain to you. But we had these new reads, and Randine goes, well, if you're driving home, won't Struds be doing this read? And I said, yeah, that'll be amazing. And Randine goes, well, no, he'll pre-read it, won't he? And I said, no chance Struds will pre-read that ad. He's going to hit that cold and not see it coming, and it's going to be like a cold punch in the face.
The anchor man. I just read what's on the prompter, man.
You put it on the prompter, Struds will read it. I love that. All right, let's get to that Weiss Johnson sound box and head coach Chris Knobloch.
Yeah, I thought we had plenty of opportunities to score, especially early in the game, and just couldn't buy one. Obviously Leon scores early in the game. Corey comes up big with a nice shot in the third, but the type of shots that we had, like a lot of one-timers from the point. There was a lot of rebound opportunities, but just couldn't put one in.
Obviously, with Connor not available and on the power play, it's going to have a different look. But what did you see from the power play, and maybe what wasn't quite clicking for them, do you think?
Well, I think, obviously when you add another guy, the chemistry and find out who goes where and what they're supposed to do. But I don't think RB was the problem tonight. I just think we're a little too stagnant, not moving quick enough, especially with our feet. And, not making them move enough to get them out of position. So then you've got opportunities to attack.
What do you think of what he said there, Struds?
Yeah, I agree with it. I mean, I kind of mentioned it. I just, again, I didn't play on the power play, which, was obviously a mistake by many coaches, but I killed a lot of penalties. And when people didn't move and they didn't move the puck, it was pretty easy because I didn't have to react. I can tell you one of the hardest power plays I ever played against was the Sedins. Those guys, they were moving all the time. The puck was zipping all over the place. I had no idea what was going on out there. I was just hoping it would hit me and block a shot. So, it's just, again, that's why I kind of say it. I thought from earlier it was a little bit stagnant and not everyone was unsure about what their job is. And that's a sign of a kind of a power play that's new together, Brown.
Well, and the fact that they weren't putting pucks on net. The other thing, you either move your feet or you put pucks on net. When you put a puck on net, Struds, all of a sudden the defenders are now turning their backs trying to find the puck. And when you win the race as a power play to the puck, now you've got them running around. Now there is chaos. And there was no chaos on the power play tonight. There was never a shot and then a retrieval and having the Washington Capitals now try and find position. They never had to move. And as a penalty-killing unit, they didn't get tired. It was so much that, I don't know if you guys noticed, the Oilers had a 6-on-4 to finish the game for 2 minutes. The Capitals, Leon shot the puck and at a minute went all the way down. So they'd been out there for a minute. The two defenders didn't change. The two defensemen, they weren't tired. On a 6-on-4, if you're the two defensemen, you should be exhausted from from running around. And they didn't, because they weren't tired. The same two played the entire 2 minutes. That tells me, and what you guys were saying, the Oilers didn't do a good enough job getting the defenders or the PKers moving around because they themselves weren't moving around.
Holy smoke, Struddy. Like, that little piece of analysis right there might be the early lead for play of the day. That's a great pickup, Brownie. Honestly, that's a great point by you. What did you? And I also thought they would take a time out there before that as well, because their guys had been out there. I was surprised, Struds, that they did not.
Yeah, and it's like he doesn't want to call them, right? He's not a big guy to call timeouts, and I don't know if he feels that his guys are in as good or better shape as other teams, so he doesn't want to call so they can set up a play, and they feel that the chaos that they can create offensively is better to do with them a little tired, rather than give the other team a chance to set up and talk about what they might try to do. And I often think that's what his plan is.
He treats those timeouts like Struddy treats a couple of fresh 20s in his wallet at the bar. Like he's just clinging onto those things for dear life. Like he's stockpiling them for future use. Or like someone needs to tell him they don't transfer game to game. Anyways, who are we to question that? The last note I'll make on the power play, guys, that I thought was interesting. So the power play at the end of the second, and then it starts in the third, and we see number 14 on the blue line and not number 2 for a big chunk of power play right to start that period. Now, we asked Knobloch about it post-game, and he said something interesting. He talked about it being a completely different look when you throw a left shot defenseman out there. It just kind of throws everything, gives it all a little bit of a different look. Obviously, he's going to cover a little for Bouchard. He's not going to throw him under the bus. I'm not sure if they weren't happy with what Bouchard was giving them, and that's the number one reason why they did that, Struds, or if there's something legit. They thought it would be a different look. What say you on that?
I don't know. I mean, I listen. I want my guy that is dropping bombs from the blue line. And not that Ekholm can't, but that seems to be Bouchard's play. So I'm not sure. I'm not going to say he was benched, but I would have preferred to see Bouchard out there, Brownie.
Well, I think that Chris Knobloch's telling you a fib. I think Bouchard had
That's 2 in a couple of days here. Yeah, the 11-7 thing,
Bouchard,
and now this. He's just...
Well, Bouchard struggled in the game. He did not have a good game. When you don't have Connor McDavid in the lineup and Leon is setting up where he is, you want the one-timer there. You do not want a left-handed guy in Ekholm at the top, because every time Leon passed to Ekholm has to take the puck across his body, turn and face the net, and that allows the defender to get in the shooting lane. So they were taking away the one big thing that they had on their power play without having Connor in it. So to me, it was simple. Bouchard struggled. They went with Ekholm, and I give Knobloch credit for doing it. This was a tough night for Evan Bouchard. Occasionally he has those nights. Normally when Evan struggles, it's on the defensive end. Tonight he looked very tentative with the puck on his stick, and that is something that we rarely see from Evan Bouchard.
Yeah. Interesting too that they at 6-on-4 went back to Ekholm and Bouchard together, and still no look for Jeff Skinner there. Like, you're down a goal, you need a goal. I mean, if there was a time to throw him on the ice, you got 6 players to choose from. Your net is empty, so it's not like you're going to, it's just a shot down the ice that you got to defend against, really. But just no moss there on Jeff Skinner, Brownie.
Well, to me, it's not even a story anymore. Honestly, Jeff Skinner is not in the plans of Chris Knobloch. It really isn't. I know that someone asked him a question. Did you think about putting him on the power play instead of Arvidsson? Jeff's about, November, when they were missing Hyman, Kane, and Arvidsson, and Skinner didn't get even a sniff of the top 6. That was where you saw what Chris Knobloch thinks about his team. Jeff Skinner has been healthy scratch as of late. At the end of the game, I don't think it crossed his mind. He had other players that he felt would do a better job, and to me, Jeff Skinner is a non-story nowadays, that he's simply one of these bodies that's here, and that eventually, I believe, will be replaced when they get healthier and find someone at the trade deadline.
Yeah, so two things for me. One, on that power play, he's the type of guy 6-on-4 that can create on his own. Like that's what he does best. You want the puck on the sticks in that moment, especially when Connor's not there. So I'm not sure, that it's clear then that they're not trying to do it. And then on a night where you take a 20 to 25 minute player out of the lineup, Skinner only played 12 minutes. So we've been saying it over and over and over again. Like the writing's on the wall here, guys.
Yeah. Okay. That was a breakdown brought to you by our Alberta Ram dealers. There's lots more to break down in this game, guys. We got to talk about the Oilers struds at 5-on-5. Couple of performances I want to highlight tonight. We'll see what else you guys have to say. I'm just about home, though, so I'm going to bounce out. Struds, you guys take care of Relentless player and get our YouTube poll done, and then we'll be back for takeaways after that. So I'll catch up with you guys in a couple of minutes.
Okay. Let's get to the Relentless here. The Relentless player. Hold on, let me pull this up. I had just gone to look at something else. The Relentless player, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, an Edmonton charity that is relentless in providing possibility for the youth in our community. Mental health is a foundation for growth and success and the key to thriving, not just surviving. With 2 in-house counselors providing free therapy sessions, our youth have support while they navigate their struggles and rediscover their strength. Visit ucan.ca to donate today. Guys, I don't think this should be a surprise for anyone. I'm going with Logan Thompson, the netminder for the mighty Washington Capitals. The backwards-handed goalie had a great night tonight and made some key saves, guys.
He was fantastic, Struds. We talked about him a lot before the game on Chad. I do not know how he is not one of the 3 goalies for Canada at the 4 Nations. It's not even close. His stats are by far the best, and they were by far the best when they picked the team. He's 22-2 on the season on a team that most of us thought were going to miss the playoffs, and they're in first place. Like, it is shocking, and he was so good, and he's been good every year in the National Hockey League. So tonight, easy. Yeah, that might be one of the easiest Relentless players you'll have all season long. Logan Thompson is the reason the Washington Capitals got 2 points tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He was really good. And I scratched this one into my notepad fairly early in the night. Usually I wait till the end, but I was like, okay, this is it. This is the way it is. And you know what? I hate this term, but the Oilers kind of got goalie tonight, right? They made a couple little mistakes off the rush. They cost them. And on the other end, they couldn't quite squeak one by the backward-handed goalie. Zuby, did he mention get into the YouTube poll, my man?
Yeah, he did say we could do a poll.
Okay.
We chatted about it before. That's a very serious poll tonight, so I don't want to. I want to make sure
let's get into it.
I'll let you take care of the business here.
Yeah, I'll take the business and you sing the song. So, the YouTube poll brought to you by De Boer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Are you fired up yet for the upcoming golf season? New 2025 equipment from TaylorMade, Ping, and Callaway are arriving at De Boer's. Go ahead get ahead of your fitting rush and schedule your appointment today, located at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. Where are you taking us tonight there, big man?
Yeah, this is going to be I'd be really interested to hear, of course, you two chime in on this because you played the game. So here's the poll tonight. What's the most distracting snack that could land on the ice during a game? And the choices are nachos, a hot dog, popcorn, or a root beer float. So you're out there trying to do your thing. Any of those, of course, we saw nachos on the ice tonight. Almost got an assist. So what would be the most distracting snack, Struds, as a defender? Nachos, a hot dog, popcorn, or a root beer float?
Yeah, I don't like the root beer. I'm going to go with, I think I'd take the nachos. I love a good nacho, especially when they're super salty, Brownie.
I think that'd be the biggest one because you've seen popcorn on the ice before. You've seen like a root beer float. You've seen someone throw a pop or a beer on the ice. To see a whole tray of nachos on the ice, it's one of those ones where it would distract you. I can understand Logan Thompson, like, okay, seriously, there's a box of nachos right there. How am I supposed to concentrate when I'm looking at the nachos? So yeah, 100%. I think that's the nachos would be the most distracting.
The fact that the nachos stayed in the thing was pretty amazing. I don't know if anyone got any video of them landing if they saucered out there. I'm going to vote hot dog though. What if that thing comes out of the bun and starts rolling around? And you got problems.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, those are all pretty good options. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I remember goalies would have hot dogs in their glove and sneak bites. The backup goalies,
Oh yeah.
popcorn
Yep.
all the time. Backup goalies just pound the popcorn, Brownie.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Wendell Young, I played with him in Chicago, and he had it in his pants. Because we played, Quebec used to be in the IHF, and they have the best shen shows. They toast the buns there. They're incredible. So he would have them on the bench, and when the puck went down to the far end, everyone was looking that way. He would pull it out and take a bite of it, but he got put in the game. And I was sitting beside him, and he's like, "You got to take the hot dog. I got to go play." And I'm like, "I don't want the hot dog," but I took it. It was really good.
So good. So good. Okay, boys, let's take a pause here on the show. When we come back, we'll get Shogger back in here. He'll be set up, and we'll get into some takeaways. And then, of course, we got Brownie Points, Struddy's World, and obviously Ask Us Anything. So if you have those, pound those into the old YouTube poll here, or YouTube stream. I'll take a quick break. More when we get back right away.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Oh, that sucks.
Certainly.
Oh. Whoop! Hit!
Pardon me.
There we go. Stick with it, Zuby. Stick with it. Welcome back to the show, folks. Time now for our takeaways, brought to you by Martin Motorsports, announcing the addition of Harris Pontoons to their lineup of boats. Harris offering a large selection of premium quality pontoons with 6 models to choose from, ranging from the simple essentials to ultra luxury. There's a perfect one for you. Start your journey to the water with Martin Motorsports and a Harris pontoon. Visit them in Calgary, Edmonton, Kelowna, and in Saskatoon as well. Okay, I believe you guys touched on Logan Thompson with the Relentless player there, and I agree with you, Struds. I think that's a pretty good tap in. That kind of leads us to the discussion about the Oilers' night overall from an offensive standpoint, Struds. Like the shot attempts, 70. I think the Oilers were in the 70 range. Washington was under 40. Like they carried a ton of the play, had opportunities. I don't think that at even strength this was a lack of generating some looks. Were they just not around the net enough for some of them? Or what do you think the difference was, Struds, with all those looks?
Yeah, so I've been saving this. I loaded this question up in my mind early in the game, and it happened off a Nugent Hopkins shot. And actually, Louis DeBrusk made the point where on a regular-handed goaltender, that might have gone in just under the blocker. But instead, his glove was on that side because obviously he's a backward goalie. So, Brownie, my question is this to you. How much does it change things? Because shooting over the pad or shooting over the block or whatever or under the arm, whatever it is different when you're shooting on a guy that is opposite hand. And could that have kind of thrown the Oilers off? Because they did have some pretty decent looks from some decent spots over the course of the 60 minutes.
It threw me off every time I played. When I hated guys that caught the opposite hand. My shot was always the same. I always try going top glove. And you'd beat a goalie that's opposite hand, but it would hit the knob of the stick. And it'd drive you crazy. You're like, I beat him. I put it right where I wanted. I think as the game goes on and the goalie's playing well, it would affect you a little bit more. Especially when you put a shot where you you want it. And Nugent Hopkins always has that, as you said, he's low blocker. He kind of throws it back the other way, the way he shoots, and he beats a lot. It's a tough shot to make, but if you hit your spot, you fool a lot of goalies. And sometimes you could fool Logan Thompson, but his glove is hanging there, and it's going right into the glove. So, 100%. I do believe an opposite-hand goaltender gets into the minds of some players, not all, but it certainly, when I played, I hated playing goalies that caught the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah, Thompson was really good, man. I think as time is going on here, him not being part of Team Canada at the Four Nations is kind of getting a little bit more and more head-scratching. His numbers, his performance, all those things, and put on a heck of a good performance here. Ovi tonight, guys. Like that was that would be one of the quieter nights from the Great Eight. He's played a lot of amazing hockey, but like, yeah, that was a quiet night. Hey, Struds from Ovi?
I think
how
that
can I say this and be respectful?
Yeah, I think that every time he rolls into a city, everyone's looking for a big show, right? Everyone wants to see what he can do. And, the big man doesn't get around as quick as he used to. And he's, in my opinion, at least tonight and other some games I've seen, he's not super involved in the play, right? He's kind of just waiting for the play to come to him. And I think his line mates understand what he's all about. Because quite honestly, I think that the PLDB line, I would consider that, a 1B at worst on that team, Brownie, as far as the line. Well, what line I think they are.
Well, in all honesty, Connor McDavid had as much impact on this hockey game as Ovechkin did. Like, really. Seriously, again, I don't think Ovechkin was poor in the defensive. Like, he didn't make any blunders. But, yeah, there were shifts that, honestly, he might not have needed to shower after the game. It was as quiet a game. He had one shot, and he actually rang it off the crossbar on the power play in the third period, skimmed the crossbar, but that was it. The Oilers did a good job taking away, like, they didn't want to go to him on the power play because the Oilers took that away, and that took away all effectiveness of him tonight because it was, he was unnoticeable. If you took someone tonight to the hockey game and said, okay, on Washington, one of those players is going to break Wayne Gretzky's record, Ovechkin might have been about 15th or 16th on your pick if you were a new person to the game of hockey. But it was very quiet. Let's give credit to the Oilers. They had the puck most of the night. But as Strud said, he doesn't move around as much. He's a guy that only needs a split second to score. But really, Washington didn't have the puck very often. The Oilers made like 3 mistakes in the game, and the Capitals scored on all of them. And Ovechkin just wasn't part of those plays.
His strongest play of the day might have been clubbing me upside the head in our pregame interview with him earlier on today. So Phil is asking about it in the chat. He says, did anyone catch Ovechkin's response to Schager's question? He was like, I just answered that question. Yeah. So this was kind of sort of humbling, but it was funny. So Derek Van Diest asked him about the idea that you're chasing this record in a year where you get to play meaningful games and the team's in it too. And he didn't give much of an answer. Like, he kind of didn't really answer it. And so I was like, we need a better answer from him on that one. And sometimes what we as reporters will do is you'll just kind of like, okay, let's give him another crack at that one. So I thought I would very sneakily rearrange the question a little, add like a little bit of a different slant on it and fire it at him. And I fired at him and he just goes, yeah, didn't I just answer that? And I went, oh, did you? And he goes, yeah. And I go, okay. And then everybody just moved on. It was awkward and not my best look. So Ovechkin delivered a significant body check to me a little bit earlier on in the day. So he didn't go without his wins today, fellas. So Brownie talked about the mistake, Struds, and not a ton of breakdowns for the Oilers. They know this team is good off the rush. That's what Washington does a good job of. The stats show it. The Oilers knew that. Knobloch talked about it before the game, and that's still where they got beat for a couple.
Yeah, and what's weird is that, again, just through the eyes of when I played defense, it wasn't like they're super fast. So it's not like it's Nathan McKinnon coming at you and stick handling through your legs 5 times and going 5 on the goalie. Like it was, so I think it was the second goal against just at the end of the power play. No, it was the third goal against where, they overplay it, right? The D-man, Kulak comes over and overplays it. And then that allows a lane for the puck to get through for PLDB. For those that don't know, that's Pierre-Luc Dubois. So like, there's no reason to move over there. Just hold your lane. You don't have to slide over, right? And so like, that was like a free one, a free shot that I know it hits the post, but then they get the rebound. Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't Pierre-Luc Dubois who had it. He scored the goal, but you know what I mean? Like they slid over, and it was just, to me, it was just like a simple mistake that led to a pretty big goal against, obviously.
Well, I think what it is too, Struds, is they play it very structured, and they move the puck well. I agree. They're not fast. They're not physical, but they do have good puck control. And when they did get the odd man breaks, they weren't bad passes, or they didn't force something. They made the right play, and they made a good tape-to-tape pass, and that allowed them to get a scoring chance. I mean, the 2-on-1 goal, Arvidsson made a bad play at the offensive blue line. He threw a puck thinking where Leon was, but not knowing. And he caught Leon, and Leon was in a bad spot. They go down 2-on-1. Now that's Protas, I believe. Is that how you say his name? Big kid? Alexei Protas? Number 21? Protas.
Yeah.
Like, that is a great pass on the 2-on-1. Kulak goes down. As soon as Kulak goes down, Skinner's thinking, okay, I've got the shot. He's not going to make the pass. Kulak, by laying down, saying, I'm taking the pass away. And Protas throws the puck over the back of Kulak's legs and lands it flat in the perfect spot for Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson didn't have to move his stick, didn't have to adjust to anything. All he had to do was push it into an empty net. That's not an easy play. That's a tough play, and he made it to perfection. So when they had their odd man breaks like you talked about, they just make good plays on them. And they took advantage of those mistakes. The Oilers made a couple mistakes that Washington took care of, and then all of a sudden you're chasing a game. And the one thing, Washington gave up a lot of shots, but a lot of them were from perimeter. There weren't a lot of second or third opportunities, and the Capitals were very good at getting into shooting lanes and forcing, not your number one shot. They're forcing you to take shots you probably don't want to take, but you have to because now there's nothing else there.
So, Zuby, hop in here, buddy. So, we on this pod believe that Stu Skinner and Calvin Pickard are the Oiler goaltending duo, that is not going to change. I think I'm speaking for all of us, the three of us, and maybe you, Zuby, when I say we don't believe it should change. But Zuby, with that said, there's a segment of the Oiler fan base that wants to keep the Skinner conversation and the Skinner narrative going. So we'll indulge them a little bit, Zuby. You see it on the stream. What's the sense from fans there that are still feeling some trepidation about Skinner?
Yeah, we've got I've got a couple comments here, actually. Avi Hoffman said Stu Skinner's very unpredictable. It's true he can look so average and then elite on another night, but I believe in him, I think. Chris Pike said Skinner is either lights out or plays terrible. The highs are very high and the lows are very low. Needs some consistency. There's quite a bit of I don't think there's much of a push for people saying they think Pickard should take over as the number one. I think the people who are anti Stu Skinner, if you will, or don't believe in him, want a move made, want a different starting goalie brought in. I can't say they're naming names, but that's more of the feeling. Not put Pickard in the number one spot. It's get somebody else.
Brownie, go.
Well, it's not only do we believe, I believe in Stuart Skinner. I believe he's good enough to win them a Stanley Cup. But I think what we're all saying on top of it is we do not believe the Edmonton Oilers are making any move at all for a goal.
Yes.
We feel that they are. This is our duo. This is what we're going to go with, and there will be no thought of a trade at the deadline for another goalie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything to add there?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the second goal as a defender would have been frustrating for me. I don't think he expected that one timer from Matty Waugh from the point. He was up. It was on the ice through his 5-hole. That'd be a nice one to save. Just again as a defender. I don't know what you thought about that one, Zoobs. You're the goaltender.
The second goal, the point shot.
The one-timer point shot, yeah.
I mean, again, we've kind of talked about this. There was another goal we talked about this where Skinner's trying to look through a screen, so he's looking very high, and then the shot comes low. When I'm smaller. I don't know if I can't see, what I want to do is take care of the bottom of the ice, because that's I hate you hate one going right under you. So it's just maybe it's style. I'm not sure, but for me, I always think, man, if I can't see it, at least I don't want it to go in right along the ice. So I'd be protecting that more.
My thought on that particular one was, and I believe Skinner's a battler in the crease. Like, I think he fights for position. I think I'm not suggesting that he's not. I thought on that one, he got a little lackadaisical. Like the puck was back there for long enough that, there could have been a shot coming in any time at all. And I thought he got caught a little behind it, just kind of not really with the level of readiness required for where the puck was at that time. As you said, Zuby, he looked high. Shot came low. I thought he could have been in a little bit more of a ready position at that point, but that was just, I looked at it a few times and thought, he didn't seem as ready there as he normally does. But anyways, bottom line, we understand there are fans that want to talk about that, and we respect that. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it this year on the show, though, because bottom line, I do not believe the Oilers are in that headspace at all. And quite frankly, for those who say, and there is some of that on the stream, they'll never win a cup with Skinner. The Oilers just went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, and Stu Skinner did his job in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. He outdueled Jake Ottinger in a conference final and helped the team battle back and played well in Game 7. So I'm not sure who you think you're going to bring in that you can guarantee is going to be able to do that. So we're going to leave that conversation right there and move on from it. But we do respect those who continue to be concerned about it. Oiler fans are concerned at times. I want to shine another light here, guys. I did this a few games ago. I want to do it again tonight. I thought that Ty Emberson had some really good moments in this game. I like the way this player is skating. I like the way this player is competing. If Ty Emberson is the Oilers' third pairing right shot defenseman heading into the postseason, I like where they're at, Struds. I thought he was decent tonight. There's some really good looks tonight.
I think competing for me tonight was the biggest thing that he did, or most impressive. He went after Ovi, and he had a couple of hits. He was looking for hits against a big team and a little bit slower. So it's a little easier to hit the big guys that are a little bit slower, but he didn't back down. And I really like that from him. I think that if he can add, because they talked about in San Jose that he was quite physical. And we've seen it, here and there, but tonight, Brown, I thought we saw it against a team that's very hittable because of their size.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he had a strong game. He's going to get some Brownie points tonight. I'll talk about it then. But on Chad, we give a 4-star every night. He was our 4-star. We thought he stood out in this hockey game. In a game where the Oilers played pretty good, we thought he stood out as someone that had a special game. And I agree, Schauger. If he's your third pairing defenseman, the way things are going right now, that's trending up. That is a nice third pairing you're going to have. If it's Kulak and Emberson, I feel pretty comfortable in the playoffs with that pairing as my third pairing.
Got to get that guy signed up. Got to find that contract. There was one sequence where he had just a great defensive play, like in a one-on-one battle for a puck against Tom Wilson. And Wilson ended up on his back end. Emberson won the battle, ended up helping the puck break out, busted down to the other end, and then took a really nice one-timer on net and got it on net and executed it. It was just a great sequence. And you talked about the battles with Ovechkin. He had another really solid hit on Wilson. The guy's a gamer, man. And he's shown he's not afraid to drop the gloves too. So sneaky good pickup here, and that continues to build. So we will continue to keep an eye on that. Brownie, are you home yet, bud?
Yes, I am.
Okay, why don't you hop inside, and Struds and I will rip through a quick scoreboard here, and then on the other side of it, we will get to Brownie points and Struddy's world while you hop inside.
Sound good.
Okay, chat with you in a minute, pal. Let's get to our scoreboard, brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new CC Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. That is their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. It's full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. Struds, what else was happening on the scoreboard tonight, buddy?
Well, the next two games the Oilers play against are against the Canucks and the Sabres. They were in action tonight, and the Sabres beat them after playing in Seattle last night, the previous night. So they played there on Monday night. They came to Canucks and beat them tonight. So tough night. I was reading some of the comments out of the dressing room. The team is like, hey, we gotta be better on that one. The Preds 7-5 winners over the Sharks tonight. A lot of goals in a kind of a random game for two teams that don't seem to be really heading in anywhere towards the playoffs. And then lastly, the mighty Rangers spanked the Senators 5-0. So 8 games. Those are kind of the ones I highlighted. Canadians actually keep playing well with the 3-2 win over the Lightning at home.
Yeah. All right, good stuff. That was our scoreboard, brought to you by Canadian Club Whiskey. On the other side of the break, Brownie Points, Struddy's World. Ask us anything, take a lap, Core Blue Liners. Lots of shows still ahead here on Got Your Back.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
Hey, Zuby, remember that time Struddy dunked on himself in an ad read?
That was awesome.
Huh.
It was really good.
It was so There'll be a meeting tomorrow. Big meeting tomorrow, just so you guys know.
It was all Randine. It was all Randine.
She's getting it.
All right, time now for Struddy's World. Brought to you by Timberhouse Developments. When you become part of the Timberhouse family, you might be surprised just how close you'll get to the people in the process. If you want to check in on things, no problem. Stop by the job site. You're welcome there. If you want to chat with the crew at head office, go see Donnie and the great staff at Timberhouse. They've got fantastic coffee at the Timberhouse office. They take their coffee very seriously as they do their home building. You're the most important person in the home building process, and Timberhouse always remembers that. You will be treated that way. Visit timberhouse.ca. Really cool designs at Timberhouse too. Very unique stuff. Okay, Struddy, what do you got for Struddy's World tonight, buddy?
It's really special when people are put into the Hall of Fame. I think that is, you're the greatest of the greats, and you're surrounded by other greats in whatever sport, whatever field, male, female, to me, it doesn't matter. Whatever, if you were put in there, it should be really a special honor. So choosing the people that go into Hall of Fame is a massive responsibility, a massive one. And I think you have to understand that it's about the game. It's about understanding the player and not holding grudges or trying to be the person that's smarter than everyone else in the room. Today, a few players are brought into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. And as of yet, there's only been one player that's ever gone in with a perfect, everyone voted for him, Mariano Rivera. How could you not all vote for him? Jeter was one vote away. I can't believe everyone didn't get him. Today, Ichiro Suzuki. Did he get everyone's votes? Yay. Oh, no, he didn't. He missed 396 people voted for him. One person didn't. One person didn't think that he was worthy of the Hall of Fame. I would love to talk to this person, just like the one who did for Jeter, and say, what are you thinking? What are you that much smarter? This guy he came in at 27, hit tons of runs, gold gloves, like all these things amazing he did. What did he do or not do to not get your vote for the Hall of Fame? It's arrogance, guys. And I would find out who it is. Jason Strudwick, you're gone. You're out. You're no longer voting for it, because when it's unanimous except for one person, it's enough. I cannot respect it. And quite frankly, they lose their credibility.
You're right, Struds. I saw that today too, and I was shocked. A couple things on it. There's a guy in Pittsburgh that every year when they vote for the MVP, he has his own version. He does the analytics, and then all of a sudden, Connor and Matthews are number 5 and 6 on his votes, and he has these other guys. Like, okay, you're smarter than the rest of the world. Come on, grow up. But this one here, I don't understand baseball, because there's only ever been one guy that has been automatic where he's got unanimous. Well, all these other guys, they're going in the Hall of Fame. Why do you have I'm not going to vote for him this year. I'm going to wait till next year or the year after. If they're good enough 2 years from now, why are they not good enough for today? But in baseball, it's weird. There's only one baseball player in the history of baseball that was good enough to go in unanimous. It's crazy. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand how baseball does it. Again, Jeter, Suzuki, there's a whole bunch of them that this guy belongs in it, but I'm going to wait till next year to vote for him. But I'm not going to give him the automatic. I don't understand it. And again, I agree with you, Struds. I think it's arrogance that they think they're smarter than the rest of the world. But it's also embarrassing, because they could be today announcing unanimous Hall of Famer Ichiro Suzuki, and instead we're talking about some fool that didn't vote for him.
Yeah, I mean, a few years ago, and we see this in hockey at times too. I don't vote on the awards, by the way, but somebody gave, in just one of the very, very average years, below average years by his standards, someone gave Jesse Puljujarvi a third place vote for the Selke in voting one year. It was like, I mean, you see some off the wall stuff. What I don't necessarily agree with, Struds, like, if you're running things, vote the way Struds wants, or you're out of here. You're off the list. Yeah. I don't know if I mean,
it's not how
people vote on awards. They take time to do it. You don't like them?
99.8% of the people are voting for him. Like, come on, you're smarter than all those other guys.
It's not what I want. So all those people, you're saying that this guy knows more? The first year he played, he won the Rookie of the Year and the AL MVP. I mean,
I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm just saying, people don't agree with, you don't agree with someone's vote. You're just going to punt them off the committee. That's right. It. You're just done.
Because
everyone has to conform.
So what I would do is I'd bring him in, explain to me your choice. Well, you shouldn't go in the first year. You're gone. Boom. I'd have you out so quick. I wouldn't even think twice. You're gone. Thank you. You just lost your hand in your badge and your briefcase. You're out.
I love how you said you're going to bring him in here and let him talk, and then I'll kick him out. There's no, I'm kicking him out. I'm just going to let him talk before I do it.
This voter, I don't want to go on all night, but this voter makes it about him, where it's not. The Hall of Fame is the shrine of greatness. It's not about you voting. I'll hang up now and
love it.
take a break, but it fires me. I won't sleep tonight about it. It bothers me so much.
Interesting.
It feels like there's probably one guy thinking like didn't get the memo, thought they were going to wait until next year. Oh, I didn't know we were going to, because there are some guys that just for whatever reason they are making a statement and they're like, I'm going to vote for him, but not this.
Yeah,
I don't think you should go in the first year. They're wrong, as you said, but
what more do you want? Crazy.
Yeah. All right, that was Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber House Developments. Check them out at timberhouse.ca. All right, Zuby, roll the fun music, buddy. Let's get to Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Using prime Alberta beef, their jerky is available in 13 tantalizing flavors, including the famous sweet and spicy. The jerky that went to the International Space Station. Family owned and operated since 1962. Great game day snack can be shipped to you anywhere in Alberta. And for the month of January, free shipping Alberta-wide on all orders over $55. AlbertaJerky.com is the website. Got Your Back is the code, and that'll get you an additional 10% off. Brownie takes center stage.
Well, Mo, we've talked about a few of these things already tonight, but I got 22 brownie points for Logan Thompson. That was his 22nd win of the season. He's 22-2 in 3 overtime losses on the year. And he got overlooked as one of Canada's goaltenders at the Four Nations. I don't understand. He's got a .925 save percentage. And it's not like Zach Hyman, where Zach had a slow start to the season. Logan Thompson had the best stats when they were picking the team. And I have no idea why. And I looked at his career stats. All his career stats are good in the National Hockey League. So to me, Logan Thompson gets 22 for a fantastic game tonight. I got zero brownie points to any more discussions on the Oilers lines because it doesn't matter. We saw that tonight again. The Oilers start with Leon Arvidsson and Podkolzin, and they were good. And then they changed it anyways. And then Leon was with Perry and Hyman and all the... It is unbelievable how quickly I've been on a number of teams, as has Struddy, and I've been on teams where coaches like to switch up the lines. I have never seen an organization, and it's because of Connor and Leon, but I've never seen an organization that changes lines more than the Edmonton Oilers. Like, you look at around all the top lines in the league, that they're always together, and there is news when they break them up because it doesn't happen. But again, tonight, they switched them all around, and it usually seems to work at times as Corey Perry scores a big goal tonight. I got 4 brownie points to Ty Emberson, 4 hits in the game tonight, 2 huge hits on Tom Wilson. And I remember the play you were talking about, Schauger, where he sent him on his back, and Wilson took a while to get up. Like, it hurt when he went down. Emberson jumped up in the play and created a scoring chance. I thought Emberson was excellent in this hockey game, and he led the Oilers tonight with 4 hits. Good on him. He went out of his way to go after the big boys of the Washington Capitals. I got 1 big brownie point to Chris Knobloch. He saw the Bouchard was struggling, and he took him off the power play. That power play to start the third period was important. They had a minute and a half, down a goal, on fresh ice. They were a rested group, and he still put out Ekholm. And he can say that he wanted a lefty-righty. You know what? The players, every defender out there was glad it was Ekholm and not Bouchard, because they did not have to worry about Bouchard's slap shot. I can guarantee you that. They were happy that it was Ekholm. Struds, am I right on that one?
Well, you nailed it, man. Absolutely true.
Damn right. And so
Poor
good on
Podkolzin.
Knobloch. Pardon me?
I said poor Podkolzin. Bouchard was trying to kill him, but I'd hit him twice.
I know. That would hurt. Well, the one time he stood in front of the net, and it's like, okay, can I make it to the bench? Is it still attached, my arm? That was painful. And then my final one, I'm taking away 7 brownie points from the city of New Orleans, because tonight it is -7 in New Orleans. And I don't know if you've seen the video. They are playing hockey on the streets of New Orleans, Bourbon Street. There's guys out there with sticks and skates. It is all ice. They've closed down all of these streets in New Orleans, and people are coming out and playing hockey on the streets of New Orleans. Watch the videos. It is unbelievable. New Orleans not used to the type of weather that they're getting, and all of the hockey fans there are taking full advantage of it. I've watched a whole bunch of videos of guys playing hockey downtown on Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
What? Why are you depriving them of brownie points then? You get
Well,
them
because it's
minus brownie
-7
points for that.
because it was -7, so it was a playoff of
trying
the
to stay in
temperature.
character.
And you do know, okay, don't tell anyone else that's watching this. There really isn't
Don't say
brownie
it.
points. These are
Don't-
these are just made up. There's
Don't-
nobody's actually
no,
getting anything.
not true. No, you just ruined the integrity of this amazing segment. Brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Brownie, okay, sticking in and answering a few questions from folks if we get to ask us anything?
100%.
Love it, buddy. Let's get to ask us anything. Any questions that you have for Brownie, Struds, Zuby, me, whatever, fire them into the stream right now. We got a nice, healthy audience, and we appreciate everybody's contributions. As we head into this segment, throw us a like if you don't mind. Give us a thumbs up. We would greatly appreciate that. Ask Us Anything is brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. If you need to renew your mortgage, don't just sign the papers. Maria Gallus with Maximal Mortgage can take care of finding you the best rates and work with your best interests in mind. Contact Maria today at mortgagesbymaria.ca for all your mortgage needs. Really cool with Maria. She's been helping Randy and I for a number of years. We now have kids that are old enough to start thinking about putting some money away, first-time home buyers accounts, all that kind of stuff. We had a great call with Maria not too recently to start planning for the kids' mortgage future. So if you haven't thought of that before, another great reason to call Maria at Mortgages by Maria. Zuby, go ahead and hop in, buddy. What are the people saying?
All right. Well, it's I don't think there's anything to get back into, but it's a very heated, ongoing discussion and pretty evenly split about whether Skinner is the guy or not. So I'll let them continue to beat it out. Keep it civil, everybody. T-Man said Oilers need a hero other than Dry right now without McDavid finally at home. Who will it be? It didn't seem like there was... I mean, the team played overall a good game, but it didn't seem like there was someone stepping up to be a hero tonight. Who could it be? Who does it need to be, Struds?
Well, I mean, Perry got it done, right? I mean, I guess he got the pass from Leon. But it needs moments, you're right. Looking for Hyman, the more usual kind of guys. Nuge, Hyman, Arvidsson's a veteran, been around. Bush, those guys that you kind of expect to score need to find a way to get to the back of the net, Brownie.
Well, I think any player that's on their power play, those are the guys that need to come through without Connor McDavid. So Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Bouchard, they need to come through. And you just took away 2 points a game from Connor McDavid. So the guys that are supposed to score goals certainly need to step up when he's not in the lineup.
I think you get the same thing most nights from Zach Hyman. I think he's pretty consistent with what he brings. I'm going to circle Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Now I'm going to say when Connor McDavid isn't in the lineup, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to me is a guy I would love to see, just some recognition and some elevation there, understanding the moment, how important he is to this team and how much of a difference he can make. Solid, steady, but has the ability to elevate, and tonight would have been a good night for him to have done that.
Just a thought that I had. You guys were just talking about the power play and Bush hitting Podkolzin a couple of times. Is the Oilers' power play setup? People complain sometimes that the Oilers don't have that net front presence, and Hyman kind of takes that position off to the side. Is that because of Bouchard and his shot? Is for the health of those players, or is that that's just how they like to roll with it, Brownie?
It's their setup. It's what they're supposed to do. I mean, Hyman, when Bouchard shoots, Hyman does move back to the front of the net, but they want him on the side of the net because they want that backdoor pass. And that's what they're looking for. Hyman's got no fear. I mean, he's wearing a bubble right now because he took a Bouchard shot to the face. So Hyman is more than willing to stand in front of the net, but you don't stand in front of the net until the shot comes. There's no use to take cross checks to the back until it's about time for the puck to come in.
On that topic, let's continue on. CK Pond wondering, when will Hyman have the bubble off? I think it's hampered his ability to score goals. He had a good little stretch with it, I think, when it first came on. But is there any outlook for that? Do you think he's going to have it off just as soon as he can, Struddy?
Yeah, he mentioned it one day that, he'd love to have it off.
You got it.
Yeah, there's one day he said he'd like to have it off, but he said if the nose, he said his nose was smashed, so he's got to make sure it heals properly before they take it off. Because again, he hits again, he's got a big problem. So I haven't heard an exact date, Shocker, but I think that once he can, no one likes to play at the bubble in the NHL.
Yeah,
he wants it off.
He'll get it off there as quick as he can, but they need to be careful because if he gets it again, it gets really bad and really significant. So they're just letting it heal, and it's certainly taken its time, but he's got to be up there in terms of amount of time guys have played with the bubble, Struds. Like I don't recall ever seeing it this long. So, but I'm sure he's anxious to get it off there, Zuby. Zuby, I'm going to pop in one and ask, and I imagine you would get to this, but and there's some people asking about it on the stream. What did you guys make of the Oilers' statement today, Struds? And I will say this is the statement. The Oilers organization is disappointed, and we share in our fans' frustration over the 3-game suspension of our captain, Connor McDavid. We support him through this process, and the organization and our fans look forward to having him back in the lineup versus Seattle next week. The organization putting that statement out today. What did you think, Struds?
Yeah, I think that a major tongue lashing for the league would be reserved for the playoffs by the GM or Jeff Jackson. So this to me is... I thought it was actually needless. I didn't think it required. I think everyone felt that way. I'm sure that Connor feels that the team's supporting him in this. So I don't know, Brownie. I was surprised. It didn't really. It was like when Jimmy Butler, through his agent, had a statement said, "I'm back," right? Like it's like, oh, good, okay, we knew you were playing tonight. Like I don't know. I didn't think it was required.
I mean, the only reason I think that it was sent to the league is where they're telling the National Hockey League that we're not happy. But again, I think the National Hockey League already knew that, and I'm sure privately, the Stan Bowman or Jeff Jackson has already stated to whoever was the ones making the call, said, "Hey, this is wrong." So yeah, I found it kind of odd that they made a statement too.
Got a quick theory on this one, guys. You know what this one reeked of to me? Because there's no way that Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman on their own go, yes, this looks like the absolute right thing to do in this situation. This is the play we need to make right now. This screams to me of an owner who is livid and wanting to see action from his team. We have to do something. We have to defend our captain. We have to. This has Daryl Cates written all over it, and the team being like, okay, and this is what they came up with and put it out. I think this is to placate a really angry owner. I don't have any evidence and I don't know, but I don't see that statement being something this management group comes up with and goes, perfect. It just doesn't fit for me. But
that makes more sense.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Makes more sense than anything else.
Yeah.
Especially the nature of the short, like one paragraph.
Yeah.
It was unusual. It was certainly unusual. When I started scrolling down, I'm like, where's the rest of it? All right.
Page 2.
Yeah. Ro Nelson, people talking about, lack of depth. They're feeling like scoring wise right now. Ro Nelson says the Ducks are the only team to have fewer double-digit goal scorers right now than the Oilers, and one of their 4 is suspended, leaving just 3. Power play sucks without 97. That's not really what I was getting to. There was Ben Goliath also. Oh no, where do I have? There was someone else talking about. Oh yeah, Ben Goliath. What can the Oilers do about their third line in the black hole? It's turned into Janmark, Rico, and Brown is not it. It seems like after the top 6, they had one good little stretch, but they're just not getting goals from there. Do they need goals from there, Struddy, or are they happy with it the way it is as long as they're not getting scored against?
Well, first off, I forgot to bring this up, but like the opening faceoff when my boy Rico was taking the faceoff against that line, it looked like a father-son game. Those guys are so big. PLDB, Protas, and Wilston, and who was who was it? Skinner, Brown, and Henrique. They were massive. I couldn't believe how much bigger they were than then. I'm like, oh my God, don't hurt my boy. But I guess. Yeah, you want those guys to score. They want to score. I think more importantly, they want to feel good about themselves. And those guys have had moments, all 3 of them, but I think they need to score to feel good about themselves, Brownie. They want to contribute.
Well, it goes back to when they switched the lines where they moved Brown up into the top line and they moved Hyman down. The reason they moved Brown up is because he was being productive on the third line, and then they took that line apart and they moved pieces around, and they moved Hyman there. They moved Brown up. I didn't understand why they changed those. Hyman was playing good with Connor and RNH. Brown was having a fantastic season on the third line. To me, they took apart something that was working, and then 5-6 games later, they put them back together. Guess what? It slowed down. So I thought that was a mistake at the time, and it's looking more of a mistake now because the third line isn't as effective as they were. They were playing really well. Brown was having a really good stretch, and his line mates were. And then they kind of mucked everything up for no real reason, and they haven't found that chemistry back again yet.
Mike Materi, we like to ask this every once in a while. Maybe he knows something. He says, "How many Oilers are sick?" Is there? I haven't heard anything. Is there any illness going through the locker room, Shogger? Oh, you're muted though.
Sorry about that. Yeah, heard a couple whisperings around there today. I don't want to say names because I don't know, but yes, there was some illness bouncing around. I think Pickard was maybe a little bit feeling some of that, but I don't know that it was running rampant through guys that actually had to play the game tonight.
Okay. Last serious one, and then just we need an update from you, Shogger. KD, this is going way back to the start of the show. KD says, Rob, Ryan, Jason, are timeouts overrated? This is when we were talking about Knobloch not calling the timeout tonight. When I played hockey, I thought they were very important. He obviously got the most out of that whistle, but are timeouts important or overrated, Struddy?
I like them defensively just to kind of understand, especially when we're trying to protect the league, say, hey, this is what they're kind of trying to do. We've got to do this here. So I really liked it defensively.
I like it. I like timeouts. It gives you a chance to reset, but also tonight on a 6-on-4, this is a group on the 6 for the Oilers that doesn't normally play 6-on-4 because Connor McDavid's usually there. Yeah, so calling a timeout at that point to just give a little bit more, okay, here's where you're now. I'm sure they tried doing that quickly, but having 30 full seconds on top of what you just had, you can get a little bit more exact on where you want the players to be. And it's not only on what to do when you win the faceoff. There's also, okay, if we lose the faceoff, here's where you got to go. Here's where you got to go. We can't allow them to get the puck out because we got an empty net. So yeah, I agree. I think timeouts are very important, but you have to use them properly. And I'm guessing today they felt that they were fresher than the group that the Washington Capitals had out defensively.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was so little pressure from the Oilers that when the puck got sent down the ice, the defensemen of Washington didn't even have to change. They actually stayed out there for the rest of it. So that's just something that I picked up. I think it's a great point. I think you should use that in a promo tomorrow on Twitter, Zuby.
You got it. I'll mark it right now. Before we get to this last one, it's for you, Shogger, but Reverend Hans, with a write-in here, Struddy, he'd like to see you focus on the Habs young blue liner, Lane Hudson, for core blue liners sometime in the future. A write-in request from our friend Reverend Hans. So
yeah, he's fun to watch, man. He's really fun. And his little brother looked pretty good for the Americans too. So
yeah, he did too. Talented family.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that again.
And Shogger, the last word and Ask Us Anything goes to Neil Garrity, and he wants to know any word on the Stalker doll.
Ooh.
Any update? Any more information?
Yeah, no, nothing at this point. I'm feeling, and we don't want to call it a stalker doll.
No,
that's not what we're going to go with. I think it might be Northern Farm Girl. I think it might be Northern Farm Girl. We haven't seen her on the stream in a couple of shows here. So, I mean, we were just having fun. If this is you, Northern Farm Girl, I love it. It's got a place right here in my office, but would like to know to put my mind at ease, but we're going to just assume it's Northern Farm Girl. I think this little carrot-headed little naked baby thing. Yeah, whatever we want to say here. All right, that was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria Gallus of Maximal Mortgages. Brownie, you brought the thunder tonight, buddy. You were fantastic. Struds and I appreciate it. You upped the game big time.
I appreciate that, guys. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we will see you in a couple days.
Okay,
we'll bring her home.
You stick with it. You'll be out of the doghouse soon enough. You'll get to stay for more than 15 minutes at the end of a show.
Hey, I gotta go, guys. I'm taking a call from Bob right now. Call you later. Bye.
All right, see you, buddy.
Shoot, I forgot one other. I should have mentioned last night about the doll. Gomez said it's probably a camera, so you might actually want to be careful with a recording device. You might want to.
Where are they putting a camera in this thing? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure, buddy. That's a really small camera if it is a camera. Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a lap and we'll get our core blue liner segment done as well. So still lots of show ahead. You got her dialed in to Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. Right back.
Thinking of that dream vacation? A quick winter escape? Well, flight delays are dreadful. Hospital visits, not fun. Alberta Blue Cross gives you coverage for emergency medical care, cancellations, and lost baggage. Flexibility, reliability, even lounge access or a hotel if the delay is too much. Plus 24/7 travel support ensures you're never left out in the cold. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel to learn more.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Time now for our Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you are a small to medium-sized business, HSE Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance, creating and managing a tailored health and safety program meeting all core requirements. HSE Core, supporting client operations every step of the way. www.hsecor.com. Struds, what defenseman are we going to shine a light on tonight?
He's a castaway from the Toronto Maple Leafs, Rasmus Sandin. Smaller guy, very good skater, gets around the ice pretty well. And you know what? I look back on this trade for Toronto. They got Gustafsson and a first rounder when swapped, and Sandin came to Washington, and the first rounder turned out to be Easton Cowan. So that looks like a pretty good bit of move for Toronto. But for this player here, again, he's smaller, but he's quite smart, and I really like the way he works the blue line. Today you noticed it many times. He got the puck on the blue line. He's looking like he's going to shoot. Then he slides it over to his partner, John Carlson. That gives him more time. I love those little subtle fakes that the guys do, and he's one of the better ones I've seen. Obviously, I'm not talking about the guys like Makar and Quinn Hughes, but kind of that second tiering of, D-man in that kind of mushy middle. He's pretty good at that deception and holding guys to give his partner more time. So they've got a pretty good D-man there. Looks like he's gonna smash his point totals this year. He's never really played a full year because of various issues, but I think this was a pretty good move by Washington. One of the many cast-offs that have filled this Capitals roster this year.
The thing I remember about Sandin, I mean, obviously he got lots of airtime. He was a young Leafs prospect, first round pick, trying to make his way. They really needed him to develop into the player that they drafted him to be. He got a lot of airtime. There was a lot of talk about him. And then I remember, Struds, when they traded him. So at the time of the trade, in 52 games that season, he had 4 goals and 20 points with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then over the next 19 games with the Capitals, he had 15 points. Like, he was hovering in that point-a-game territory. Do you remember that? Right after trade, he started putting up numbers like he had never put up before as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it was like, oh, my goodness, what have they done? But he definitely came back down to earth a little bit in 23-24, and now is giving him some pretty good minutes.
Good minutes. And, I don't know that he's a massive point producer. Like, he's going to get, I bet he gets 35, 40 points this year. His numbers are good when he's on the ice. They score more than not. I mean, but the team's playing well. And you can see that around him, the team is generally low event, and they manage the puck well and kind of just push the play towards the other end. And they're a massive team. So he doesn't really fit. I don't think necessarily what the rest of their group is trying to be, which is huge. But I think he's a nice little player. $4.6 million. I don't know about that number. Maybe a little high. But they've got some cap space, or they did. So here he is.
Right on. All right, that was Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. So with the trade deadline around the corner, we're going to take a look at some players that potentially are going to be taking a trip, going to be on the move. And that is brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. If you're planning a trip, if it's a dream vacation, a quick winter escape, or a trip to watch your team play, don't forget travel insurance. Alberta Blue Cross does that. They got your back with emergency medical care, cancellations, lost baggage, and more. Even maybe lounge access if the delay is too long. Check them out at ab.bluecross.ca/travel to learn more. All right, Struds, who do we want to take a look at tonight that potentially could be getting on a plane near trade deadline and taking a trip?
Well, I mean, this guy's been around a little bit. in the league. He won a Hart Trophy. And I'm talking about Taylor Hall, now currently a winger with the Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah, so a player that, many Oilers fans would love to see back with the Oilers. He's played a long career. He's had some challenges with injuries over the course of the year. In fact, last year he missed basically the whole year, had knee surgery. And I believe that's affecting his ability to skate this year. When you think about Connor Brown and his experience and how long it took for him to get going, and listen, we all know what Taylor Hall is. He's a powerful guy, attacks, skates, likes to carry the puck. But I think that it's going to take a while, like Connor Brown, to get that full stride back and that feeling of his stride that he has. So, I think that a team that acquires Taylor Hall, and I'm sure the Hawks would keep half of it, and $3 million is what it's going to be. As the season goes on and as he continues to play and go and starts getting that feeling back, like we saw with Connor Brown, they could be very happy with Taylor Hall, into their playoff run, because like I said, it's a long road back from an injury. Any knee injury takes a while to get it back again, buddy.
33 years of age. That's nuts. 33
Incredible.
years. I remember I did an interview with Taylor Hall when he was heading into his draft year. I remember I did a sit-down interview with him and thinking, oh, this young kid, I wonder if the Oilers might have a chance with this guy, whatever. Ends up being an Oiler. Like that, God, it feels like it was yesterday. That's insane that Taylor Hall's 33 years of age and we're talking about it this way. Sorry, we're going a little old man on you. I do have to say, Struds, like he came through town the other day with the Chicago Blackhawks, and the point you make about his skating, like he looked like, and maybe that night it was just a tough night for him, but man, that night he really, really struggled in that game. The skating is really his hallmark, and to lose a piece of that, you gotta be crafty and figuring out ways to stay relevant and keep your game at a high level. And it feels to me like he's kind of in that process right now. As you watch him, he can't rely on the same things that he's relied on for so long. And so sometimes it just takes players a little bit to figure that out.
Yeah. And I think Connor Brown, he's to me the perfect example. It took him the entire year, right, to get that feeling back. Taylor Hall played 10 games last year, then he missed the rest of it. And then you're trying to get going and get feeling good about yourself and get your stride going. And he is such a powerful skater. He is such a powerful skater. So, any potential team would probably look at that and say, okay, well, we know what he is. He's just not there right now because the stride just isn't there. But it's good. I believe it will come back. Because what are we, 45 games in or whatever? There's still lots of runway till the regular season's over. And again, look no further than Connor Brown. What he was producing for this team. So, I'll be floored if he doesn't get traded to a team. Chicago's obviously open for business, and he's a guy that would be, I think, people will be looking for him to take a run at them, help them take a run at a deep run.
Talk about knee problems. The other thing about Taylor Hall's struds, he's got one of the deepest strides. He sits his butt down, so he's so low.
Such a good skater.
And I know you teach skating. His positioning, he probably strains his knees as much as any skater out there with just how much he sits deep, and you can just see him powering through with such a deep squat. Be hard on the knees. Oh, you're muted there, buddy.
Sorry, he's such an efficient stride, right? He's just so powerful. It's a thing of beauty. I remember when we started on the team, I'm like, oh my God, this is my last year. I can't keep up with this guy when he's going half speed. So that's why I honestly think that it's going to take time, but he's going to continue to work at it. They'll figure it out, right? They all do. Just takes time. Just takes time, man.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what his career would have looked like if the Oilers had, maybe if he'd had a little bit more chemistry with McDavid a little bit earlier on, and I think that, the deal, was there room for both of them? I think there potentially could have been, but both puck transporters, both speedsters, not necessarily tailor-made to be line mates, but I have wondered that before, Struds. Had they just given it a little more time with him and McDavid together, do you think it ever could have been a fit?
I think they both like to carry the puck. It's like having 2 point guards on the same court. And
yeah,
I mean, I think if they could have both been on different lines, driving their lines, I think that's a big deal. And that trade, I mean, the moment, the Stamkos deal, the Shea Weber deal, and then the Taylor Hall, that was all with him. I remember I was working in the TV show at the time, just bombs dropping all over the place. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I guess it worked out pretty well for Taylor Hall, and I guess Larson in his way too. So, yeah, it was an interesting time, that trade.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that was taking a trip. Brought to you by Alberta Blue Cross. We'll see if Taylor Hall is taking a trip sometime soon. Okay, Zuby, how's the stream going? Like, is it just me, or I'm kind of glancing over, and I feel like 2 people are just absolutely swallowing up the stream with some ridiculous argument tonight. Am I reading into this properly?
Yeah, pretty much. It's it's taken on a life of its own. It's the Skinnerites and the Pickardites.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I actually forgot. I just made a comment to them saying, how about you guys just ignore each other? I already have to do enough parenting of this kind of stuff around my house. But I should have. I forgot because I'm using I still have the ability to time out them. So maybe I'll let them sort it out for tonight. There might be some timeouts handed out if we can't settle it before the next one.
Let ye be warned. Let ye be warned, Zuby. If you think it is impeding, because we got a great number on the stream. We love our live audience. If you think it's getting in the way of other people being able to enjoy and have conversation that makes sense, you got my full blessing to go ahead and time out and mute some folks if they're running rampant on the stream. We love our live listeners, but let it breathe a little. Chill out. Exchange phone numbers and text each other. You can text fight.
That's a heck of an idea.
If you want to.
Yes.
Heck of a good idea, yeah. Although
it's not as fun if other people can't read it and take sides. That's the problem. But I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Emma Terry says Zuby is drunk with power. Look out. Matt Blom says Darth Schauger. Yeah, well, you gotta drop the hammer every now and then. All right, let's get to Taking a Lap, brought to you by Acon. If you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional and you're looking for work in Western Canada, Acon's got you. One of Canada's original industrial contractors, looking for skilled tradespeople and construction professionals to join their team and start building what matters today. Join Acon now by sending your resume. trades@acon.com. That is trades@acon.com. All right, Struds, what else is going on?
Tonight, the Senators and the Rangers are going at it. Both teams are trying to work their way back up the standings. And the 3-0 score was 3-0 when Brady Tkachuk got frustrated and drove the net, ran into star netminder Shesterkin, and all hell broke loose. Guys were flying all over. Rempe happened to be on the ice at that time, and everyone's trying to get everybody. Shesterkin's down on the ground, and all of a sudden he snaps, and he jumps back up from being dead and attacks Brady Tkachuk and gets hit in the face for it. And there's a bit of a scrum, then it kind of calms down because there's really no fights. And at the end of the day, the Rangers lost or won 5-0, and they're 6-1-3 in their last 10. But I love it when goalies just snap and they're just mad at the guy who ran them and they get up and just go at it. Yeah. So Shesterkin lets them have it.
Interesting. See, I thought when your starting goaltender got blown up, it was I don't understand what all the fuss is about. Like it happens all the time. What's the need to do anything about that, Struds?
Yeah, I think this is a little different.
Tongue in my cheek.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but I mean, you can see Tkachuk he lunges into him from what I saw of the video, and so I mean, the goalie snapped. I love seeing goalies snap. I think it's so funny.
Yeah. and who is at the other end? He didn't venture down the ice though, right? He laid low.
No, the other netminder did not come down, which is kind of surprised because generally speaking, when the goalie gets involved as your players, I think it's a general rule where you come down and help out. But maybe Matt Rempe standing there slowed him down. No, I'm good. I'll stay down here. I'll stay at this end.
Yeah. You don't want. I saw a clip on Twitter too of Tkachuk kind of tied up with Rempe and the linesman in there. Like, You want no part of Brady Tkachuk and Matt Rempe. And honestly, I think Tkachuk could probably handle himself fine in that fight, to be honest with you. But that is just a horrendous trade-off.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want a hand injury or something ridiculous like that.
No, Tkachuk, he gets into it a lot. He's a busy guy. And then, a guy who's had a really good career, if I say his name, most people are going to be like, who? Brock McGinn. I've kind of followed him.
Yeah.
I like the way he plays. He plays hard. If I told you he has almost 550 NHL games, you'd probably be surprised. Most people wouldn't know who he is. Carolina, Pittsburgh, Anaheim. And anyways, he was injured just right around Christmas. I don't remember. I think it was just before Christmas, maybe, or just after, and hurt his knee. So he had a total reconstruction of his ACL done today. So he's out, I think 7 to 9 months or something like that. But he's had a hell of a career. I'm not saying it's over, but kind of like we talked about Taylor Hall. Now, Taylor Hall's I don't believe was as significant as this, but that's a pretty long road back, right? For him to get going and get himself up and running again. So I just hate when guys have long-term injuries. And even the guys I hated most when I played against, I didn't want that. Like, broken wrist or something. Okay, that's all right. But not these complete, situation with Brock McGinn. So I wish him luck.
Yeah. One other thing I want to get to in taking a lap here, Struds. We didn't mention it in either of the Oilers segments, but we talked about John Klingberg joining the Oilers the other day. Mm-hmm. And one of the points that you made was about that guy being there to pass the puck to Leon Draisaitl, right? And the value of, if this works out, to have a puck mover of that quality to move the puck up to Draisaitl. One more time to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here. Leon Draisaitl today, I asked him about that very thing, Struds, about, what do you make of the idea that if this goes well, that guy being the one to move the puck up to you guys up front. Here's Draisaitl.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled. I'm really excited. I mean, in my books, he was maybe the best offensive defenseman in his time in Dallas, and I'm aware that's a couple of years ago now, but when you're going through injuries, that really limits you, and sometimes it gets into the mental side of things as well. So I thought he looked really good yesterday. Of course, that's practice, but we're very excited to have him and give him some time to get adjusted. Find his game a little bit, and hopefully he can get back to what he was, and then obviously he's a weapon for us. Yeah.
And Vane Moretsky saying, Rishaug, Nurse also plays significantly better with someone who outlets the puck well, as Struds has said many times here on the show. Struds, Leon Draisaitl doesn't get super excited very often. There was a little extra something in that answer there.
Yeah, because he knows. And I mean, Bouchard moves the puck really well, and McDavid gets it all the time. So now it's going to be the same, or could be the same for Leon, and that'll be a problem for other teams, because it's not. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's not just getting him the puck; it's getting it when and where he wants it. That's the difference with these elite passers.
For sure. All right, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by Acon. Zuby, hop in here. Did we wrap the poll during Ask Us Anything? I don't think we did we?
Oh, well, let's get that picture of you out of there. We did not. We did not wrap the poll. It's, again, just a really important poll tonight, so we wouldn't want to miss out on this one.
I didn't hear the question.
Yeah, you missed it. The poll question was, what's the most distracting snack that could land on the ice during play? And nachos. Do you want to make your vote? We had nachos, a hot dog, popcorn, or a root beer float. What do you think's most distracting to the players?
Yeah, most distracting. I mean, maybe a hot dog, like if the bun explodes and there's just a wiener rolling around on the ice. A wiener rolling around on the ice, that might be a little I don't know, just might be something to that. What are people saying?
Well, nachos won with 32%. Root beer float came second at 29%. And hot dog and popcorn tied at 18%. But I vote. I think Struddy and Brownie both said nachos, and I said hot dog too for almost the same reason. I said if the wiener's out of the bun and rolling around on the ice, that's distracting for sure. So, what do I know?
Brian says tonight the nachos worked on Logan Thompson, so I voted nachos tonight. Struds, anything bizarre ever thrown on the ice while you were playing?
No, not that I can think of.
Like that? No.
Jerseys
comes to mind.
Jerseys, maybe?
Yeah, jerseys. That broke my heart. I really had a problem with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember that old barn in Seattle, Struds?
Oh, yeah.
Where the Thunderbirds used to play? So my first ever Western League exhibition game, I stepped out onto the ice for warm-up in that old barn, and the fans are just kind of right on you. And I got hit in the face with a handful of beer slush. Someone like grabbed the slush out of their beer and threw it at me as I was walking out. So I like had the taste of beer in my mouth for all the warm-up and had to wash my face. So, ideally you can catch a player with it, really throw him off his game. I struggled that night, Struds. Didn't play much.
Yeah. The beer off your face.
If they won tonight, and went on a heater, maybe Nachos would take over for the beef going on the ice during the anthem and playoffs. That's way messier though. Slab of beef's really easy to just scoop up and take it straight to the grill.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. Our play of the day is brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience, providing modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact gallerydentalYEG.com. If you're a nervous dental patient, there's nothing better than walking into your dentist's office and it being crystal clear they have the most up-to-date equipment to make your visit the easiest that it can possibly be. I don't know dentists, and I want to see that brand new gear. Gallery Dental is the place to go for that. GalleryDentalYEG.com. What do we got tonight, Struds?
Well, everyone loves it when their favorite uncle tells them they did a good job. So I'm going to go the play of the day when Rob Brown made the point and you congratulated on him and said, hey, Struddy, maybe that's the play of the day. Oh, message received loud and clear. You got your wish. I had an unreal other one, but we're going with yours. Congrats.
Oh, really? I called BS. You got nothing else. The minute I suggested that, you were like, one less thing for me to do tonight.
I got it written down. I'm not even going to share it. I'm not going to waste it. I'll save it for another day.
No, I really want to know now. No, it can't be the play of another day.
No, that's right. It's just gone. In another universe, it was used and it changed people's lives. But don't worry about it.
Wow.
Yours was good as well.
Ruined it. And just to quickly run it back, Rob Brown made the point that the Oilers had so little pressure at 6-on-4 that a minute into 6-on-4, the puck was iced and the Washington Capitol defensemen stayed on the ice. They were not even tired.
Yeah.
I did not notice that. That is a great pickup by Brown. He's got an eye for that weird stuff.
He does. Really good. Really good. No, it was a good one. Really good one.
Yeah. Yeah, you're jealous. You don't like it. All right. Good enough. That'll wrap up the show. Thanks to everybody for joining us, by the way. We had an awesome number on the stream tonight. We really appreciate everybody. And all of you in the stream, even those of you who were scrapping it out a little bit, thank you for taking the time. Let's settle her down and join us again. I believe Connor McDavid might do some media tomorrow, so keep an eye on tsn.ca. We will have, if that happens, we'll have that available online. And then, of course, we'll come and chat again after the Oilers and the Canucks, that rematch on Thursday night. Thanks, guys. Good job tonight. See you, Struddy. See you, Zuby.
Talk to you guys.
Good night, fellas.
All right. Good night to all of you, too. See you soon.